Hey, welcome everybody. We just decided to come on a special hangout episode with me and USCJ. The news just came out last night and today with the press conference that Reggie Bush has finally had enough. He's speaking out. He's talked about the fact that he wants to go walk out of the tunnel and see his name and his number up there in the peristyle with all the other Heisman Trophy winners. And you can see in his face, he's just had enough. JT, what do you think is going on right now?
Man, I think now is the time, and the time is now. I think it's finally, I've been sounding the alarm on my channel, man. I've been outraged really for years with this, but ever since I established this channel, periodically, that was one of the things I kind of tried to sound the alarm on, man, especially with the recent developments of Johnny Manziel. I mean, Johnny Manziel just outright, blatantly just said what happened, and he showed it on Netflix, and, the whole documentary thing, just really kind of unveiling that whole thing. I mean, it's like, okay, come on, man. I guess Reggie, to an extent, was just fed up, was like, you know what? All this stuff is coming out, the situation with Tennessee. I mean, and then years after years, I'm not going to get into the whole Cam Newton thing, but it's time. I mean, everybody's sick of it. Reggie seems to be fed up. And so now we've seen him out there with his lawyers, man. Benjamin Crump today at the Coliseum. And so he talked about a number of things we can try to touch on and address, especially Reggie having his jersey back. We may even see that back this weekend during the game.
Yeah, so if you guys have been paying attention on Twitter, it's been making the rounds. If you look at the peristyle end, if you guys remember, you always had the jerseys. And at one time, you had the number 5 out there as well, but they took it away. And it's been missing for a long time, a complete travesty. Like Jay said, as soon as we started the Trojan Conquest, it was the one thing I began talking about. I've talked about for 25 straight weeks. Every damn week I say, give the man back his trophy. No one really even knows what happened. I didn't ever want to speculate on it, but I went as far as to say is even if he did, and again, I'm not saying he did anything, but it's been proven now that the whole idea of people not being allowed, athletes not being allowed to make money off their name, image, and likeness is illegal. It went to the Supreme Court. And they struck it as a no way. And then quickly, the NCAA retreated. So even if Reggie did, and Reggie's saying he didn't receive these things, but even if he did, the fact that they took it away, it's an illegal rule. So if it's illegal now, right, JT, it was illegal then, correct?
Right.
So what's the difference?
There is no difference. And the thing about it, it's amazing how when Reggie Bush, his attorney, they kind of addressed it this way today. They really they touched on it. I can't remember if it was Benjamin Crump or the other guy. I believe his name was, I can't remember his name. But they did say the NCAA, and I've said this multiple times, the NCAA wants, really has a monopoly. And let's just call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. The NCAA has a monopoly. When you're talking about being in bed with several of the networks, I'm not going to mention the names on here. But yeah, I don't want to do that. But with several networks, they're in bed with them. And then you got to look at the region it's in. It's in the South. It's the good old boys system. And so when you look at it from that perspective and you see, what's really driving this, and really since USC's been down, they've been making millions and millions. Look, when the SEC, is it a coincidence that the SEC all of a sudden started to come up when USC all of a sudden went down? Now they start having these dominant years. We start seeing teams like the Floridas, and we start seeing Alabama. I remember when Alabama was just, they were lost in the sauce. But all of a sudden, when Reggie Bush and USC was buried, now all of a sudden these teams emerged to be the perennial so-called teams, but they know what they did. They had a monopoly. And so I'm glad the attorneys called it out, the monopoly type situation.
Yeah. And you made a great point there. I said it in my tweet. I put out probably one of the most popular tweets I've ever had. I talked about the fact that, it's amazing that the rise of ESPN, the ESPN, I mean, the SEC happened right at the same time as they took down and they kneecapped Reggie Bush and USC. The SEC sure as hell couldn't beat them. Ask Auburn, right? Ask Arkansas. How it is
they beat Arkansas 70-15. They came to the Coliseum. Then we went there, beat them 55-15.
It's like a little brother, right?
Receipts, man. Yeah.
It's like a little brother. You can't beat them on the playground, so you go tell the principal or mommy and daddy so you get them stop playing. That's really what they did, and I really do hope the truth comes out, because what they accused, and another part of this is, and I'm glad Reggie's gonna come out and start saying stuff, because how many times fans you know, and USCJ, have you heard people say like, oh, yeah, USC bought the Bush family a house in San Diego?
Those comments right there alone, those comments, Tim, I'm telling you, those would burn me up, because you already know I've had Jaywalk on my show, and Jaywalk played with him, and Jaywalk emphatically, he said, look, man, I remember when we used to eat, we used to have nothing, we used to eat, scuffle for meals, and he said that on my program when he first came on there, and look, he knew, he said, look, Reggie, he said, I promise you, Reggie did, he told me offline, and he told me online, Reggie did not cheat, and we all knew this.
Yeah, I'm really glad. I believe initially the reason why he couldn't speak out is there was a civil suit going on with the key witness, the thing that they really based their entire kangaroo court decision upon was the words of right. I don't even want to say, I'll just call him Lloyd. I don't want to say his name. And some phone calls. And also, I'm glad that Todd McNair, so a couple years back, Todd McNair said, okay, enough of this crap as well. He went and he ended up having NCAA sell out of court so they could seal what really happened. So what they were able to do is they gave him millions of dollars to say, okay, hey, yes, we stitched you up. We know we were wrong. But hey, listen, here's some money. But listen, you get your money, but you can't say anything about it. So they were able to kind of sweep it underneath the rug. Reggie's now coming out with his lawsuit. It's all going to be out there. I'm hoping that Reggie gets some money for this, because this the way he was treated.
I mean, for trauma, he's been traumatized, man.
Imagine having something probably meant more to him. He probably grew up dreaming down at Helix High, probably striking the pose down at Helix, saying one day I'm going to be in that end zone, and they've taken it away from him for the better part of what was the number? I can't remember. Just like over 4,725 days now it's been. Since they took away his trophy from him, and you got to believe, he wants, his family to have that right. He wants the fans to feel that pride again, and he wants also all those young recruits out there. Now, we'll never get back those 30 scholarships that they stole from USC, but they need a big fat apology as well. And I'm really hoping this is the first step in this all getting corrected. Absolutely, man. And so when you look at some of the comments, Tim, that Reggie made today, man, and as I alluded to, Benjamin Crump and the other lawyer, one of the comments that Reggie made, and I'm just going to read this off real quick, and this is in reference to Reggie coming back to the Coliseum, leading the team out. The question was asked, is Reggie going to lead the team out? Reggie, are you going to ever lead the team out? This was his exact words. He says, I got dreams of walking back in here, seeing my jersey, my banner, right down there next to the rest of the Heisman Trophy winners, Bush said on Wednesday in the press conference. He says, but I can't rightfully do that, he continued, without my Heisman Trophy being restored. So, he feels some type of way. And, I mean, what's your thoughts, though, Tim, as far as, do you feel like, in your opinion, that USC has how do you feel about USC as far as the backing of the whole Reggie Bush thing, and just him not being there, just him essentially being, I'm not saying banned, I don't know, what do you call it? Do we call it banned? I mean, or just the NCAA, again, they're draconian. They did USC dirtier than they've ever done anyone. They came in, there were schools that had way worse, even if everything they say was true, did things far worse than what happened. They even accused Reggie and USC of doing that, never got the kind of treatment USC got. There have been disassociations. You remember the Fab Five, sorry. You know that Weber and those guys for 10 years, they could have disassociate themselves. They did that with Reggie, and that time is up now. And USC has done it. Like, you've heard USC in press clippings refer to 8 Heisman trophies, which I loved, right? They talk about the national championships. They still have, though, if you look at the media guide, there's asterisks saying, these games are vacated, this is that, blah, blah. But they have gone in social media, and they've talked about where Reggie belongs within the program. But as far as the way they did it, no, I didn't like the way our athletic directors handled the entire thing, especially after the fact. The way, the whole phrasing that, I'm not going to name out specific ADs, but using phrases like, we're going to win the right way, and we're going to do this right on the edge after this happened. USC always won the right way. USC didn't have to cheat. I know that people were getting money at USC. It happened everywhere. Okay, I'm going to say that. I'm not going to pretend to anybody out there in the audience, especially you Trojans. I love you guys. I'm not going to lie to you either. Players forever have been getting money, but you know what? They deserve to get money. These kids, People are making millions of dollars and they're scraping by, hoping to have enough food to eat. These are large individuals. They don't have a 2,000 calorie diet, you guys. These are big guys working out, and they're hungry. And throughout forever, these guys have been hungry and they haven't had enough to eat. And yet the school's making millions, the networks are making millions, everyone's making millions. The conference is making millions, yet the families and these kids who deserve the money never got it. So I'll say it right now, and I've said it before. If these kids were getting money while they were out of school, more power to them. Now, if schools and boosters were paying kids to come to your school, that's where I have a problem. But once that kid was on the campus and he was loving, and some people loved him and wanted to take care of him or maybe help out his family, I've always been okay with that.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think it's the way it should have been from the beginning. But this whole thing about Reggie Bush, it was never about paying Reggie's money to come to USC. Even that was even alleged by the NCAA. This thing, all the allegations are after he got here. So the fact that we did win the right way, the conference won the right way, but they didn't back us up. But also the Pac-12 didn't back us up. So the ADs let Reggie down. Our conference let USC down. So yeah, I'm pissed off about the way the whole thing was treated. I'm glad it's all gonna come out now.
Yeah, it was crazy, and he was emphatic about it today. He said, "I did not," and I repeat, he says, "I did not have pay for play. I did not receive pay for play," and that portion of it is the illegal part. When you receive pay for play, that's the illegal part, and he was clear about it, and he was clear about the NCAA wrongfully rather. Accusing him and his family, and so he wants to get his name back. Not only that, Reggie wants his numbers restored. The vacated wins need to be restored. I think it's 14 wins or something like that.
Yeah,
those have to be restored as well. His Heisman needs to be restored, and USC's their integrity. Now, the question is this: where are all the Lost in the Sauce fans all over the country that come from these southern markets in these southern regions that's been accusing? The fact that nobody's going to put their name on a line like this unless they're innocent. You're not going to hire the lawyers. You're not going to put yourself out there unless you're innocent. So I want to hear, what's amazing to me, Tim, what's really amazing to me is I don't see no major networks right now reporting this. I don't see none of these southern sites reporting this. You know why? Because they got pie in their face right now. That's why. They got pie all over their face and they lost in the sauce. And Reggie, they accused Reggie for all these years. We had to hear from even some of these fans coming from Oklahoma who said that, you guys are cheaters. You guys are cheating. We had to hear it for so many years. Now it's been official, and Reggie has established himself as somebody that's absolutely telling the truth, man. So that's kind of my thoughts with that.
No, and unlike the NCAA, where whatever their burden of proof is, it seemed like they made it up as they went. Like my favorite part, I've said before. If you actually read, no one ever read the actual
affidavit.
Well, the findings when they came down with their ruling.
Yeah.
And they said this is great, you guys. Go and read it. It says USC. So when they tried to come after USC, they said USC knew or should have known. They put that level on USC knowing that they had never applied to any other school before this. And matter of fact, it flew in the face of what they said about the Cam Newton thing. They said, well, we really can't prove anything, so we're just going to let it go run away. Really quickly, Eddie Chase, just a matter of time. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Just a matter of time due to bad press and striking while the iron is hot to get progress on getting Heisman back. Absolutely. I think that he's be loud. I want to find it. Fight on Rusty put out a great tweet where he talked about on Monday, we announced Jen Cohen, our new AD. On Tuesday, I
saw that. Yeah,
some quarterback. Who's that quarterback that we got?
Julian Lewis, man, big time out of Georgia.
So we're going to talk about him, USCJ. I was just messing with USCJ because we're going to bring him up next. But then on today, now Wednesday, we have the news that Reggie Bush is fighting to get his trophy back and getting his number retired in the peristyle. What's going to happen on Thursday and Friday before the game on Saturday? So it's been a hell of a week. I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. I really do believe that Jen Cohen's going to come here firing on everything. I really like the fact, we'll talk a little bit later also about the fact she talked about NIL, and she believes you need a robust, strong NIL program in order to today's modern football.
Right.
But let's go ahead hit some of these questions and stuff that we have.
I think I see a comment from Aaron. I want to kind of touch on something that he's saying. I don't know if you can see it. as a Miami fan, he says, I know players getting paid. However, oh, you got it. Okay. As a Miami fan, I know players are getting paid. However, the NCAA favored absolutely SEC 1998, 2020 per NIL. And that's the thing. It's never been, it's always, we always known it as the brown bag handshake. Everybody knows that, it's always been said the McDonald bag, that's what they got. And, I personally know some stories, but I'm not going to put that out there. But, just for them to attack Reggie like this. And then, like I said, we had the Cam Newton situation, right? We had the Johnny Manziel situation. We had multiple situations, and we've had to watch these guys, watch multiple teams have infractions, but then you see self-imposed sanctions, right? You see all these different things that they wanted to try to implement within themselves. We even see Jim Harbaugh just happened, I guess Michigan. I guess they got self-imposed sanctions. I just seen that. Was it yesterday? So it's like, we constantly see this over and over again, but it seemed like USC really got the SMU death penalty. That's really what they tried to do. However, thank God, Lincoln Riley came and helped reestablish this program. And then now we got the new Washington athletic director, Jen Cohen, who's really, it seems like she's trying to jump on board with this as well, as far as, Reggie Bush getting his information, his trophy back, man. So, I think we're in a win-win situation right now. The state of USC football is in a great situation right now.
Yeah, and I think that the part of it's going to be the finishing piece is what Lincoln Riley and company have got together for us on the field. On you guys, and to a little more on Friday, we'll be all joining up again. Yeah. Rick and John Walker will be joining us. Same kind of format. We'll be talking about our predictions for the year. We'll go into the season, maybe some superlatives, probably have some over-unders as well. Just having a little bit of fun. It'll be a call-in feature just like this as well. So you guys want to call in, interact with us, feel free. That's going to start at 4:00 Pacific, 7:00 Eastern on Friday. And look for it. Make sure you guys are subbing and subscribing and hitting that like button for notifications as well, so that when we do go live, you'll be ready to enjoy it with us. Yeah, I'm really excited. Again, I for the longest time, at the very least, I mean, I'm certain there's be good outcomes. When I went to the campus just on Friday for Salute to Troy, I walked into Heritage Hall because JJ had to go. We had to go use the restroom, and we went in there, and the trophies. And you look at the Heismans. There's one. It's like they're all set up. So you got 7. You got the 7, and there's one spot missing. They have ready. It looks like they redid it in there. It's all redone, but they saved a spot for number 5's trophy, and you can see it. There's even some security bolts there, just ready to slap that sucker in. Looking at the end, the peristyle end, and then again Reggie's comments, the fact that he wants his trophy before they can actually start putting numbers up. I think it's all coming together, and I'm really excited. Absolutely,
I definitely think it's coming together. And you kind of seen that today. I seen like a kind of a preview while they were in the stadium, and you kind of seen, it looks like they're making room. I think, in my personal opinion, I think that jersey may be up this weekend, man. I mean, that's what, I see a couple people kind of hinting towards that way. So that may actually be up. But, Reggie, that's just one step. One step is to put the jersey up. The next step, of course, the NCAA to restore his trophy and to restore everything that Reggie has lost. And then he said he would be willing to run out. But I mean, he loves USC. He broadcast from USC the stadium. So it's much love to Reggie.
Yeah. And the last thing really that I want to touch up on this one is that it comes at a perfect time. Right, USC is now emerging back into the Big Ten. We're going to be going up against the big boys in the Big Ten, and we need to flex and get our house in order. And this is one more piece to get together, is to get that Reggie piece. We already have the team hopefully assembled. We saw them last year. This year they added more to the defense, and the wins will come. We want this though. This is something. This makes USC whole again. USCJ. This is a symbolic thing that USC got drugged down. And this would be the capstone. This is us moving out of, we're flying high, and we got kneecapped by the NCAA. We got kneecapped by possibly, if you want to get tinfoil hats on, by some networks and by some conferences who could not beat us on the field.
Absolutely, they were in bed together.
Yeah, And this is just going to be our way of saying, hey, guess what? We're back. And we're whole again, and the Trojan family's whole again, and Reggie's right where he should belong.
Absolutely.
So what else you want to talk about?
Man, and I guess those who haven't seen, man, they haven't seen Julian Lewis, big time commitment yesterday, man. This is really, it's tremendous due to the fact that Lincoln Riley is still establishing himself as the quarterback guru of them all. I mean, quarterback, and I've always said, why not play for a guy like Lincoln Riley? He's established himself. You got Jalen Hurts, you got Kyler Murray, you got Baker Mayfield, and then you got Caleb Williams. Why wouldn't you want to play for a guy that's established like that? But wait, Michael, Roy Benuelas, fight on, my man. How you doing? Why wouldn't you want to play for somebody like that? And they've already established themselves. And one of the things that in his commitment video that Julian Lewis said, he said, look, I want to play for a quarterback coach like Lincoln Riley. And then the scheme really fits me. And so contrary to what a lot of people are saying, some say, we can't get them all, but we won't continue to get them all. Some thought with Dylan Raiola that we were lost in the sauce. But look, Lincoln Riley is still that guy. We still got a big-time quarterback, number one quarterback, and he will be the number one quarterback in 2024, 2025, and 26 class if he were to come out each of those years. Now, I've heard that he will possibly reclassify to the 2025 class, which is really perfect because we got Malachi Nelson already sitting there waiting, so he can get a year under his belt, and then by the time Malachi gets ready to get seasoned and get ready to get up out of here, you got a guy like that coming in, man. He is he's the real deal, man.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about the idea of him reclassifying. There's that empty window here in 24 where now it looks like that they're not going to take a quarterback for the 24 class, and they missed out there. But the news of this, like you've said, the past. Getting this guy, you need that one guy in your class that's going to tie everyone together. Not only in this class, but let's say that for his class, which if he even if he does reclassify for the 25 class, imagine the momentum they're going to have for this 24 class, knowing that you have him coming in the following year. So right. I think that he could also begin to recruit. There's been some talk about him. Not only reclassifying, but also maybe transferring here out to the West Coast. Yeah, I believe for NIL reasons, because in Georgia right now, high school NIL, you can't do that. You can do that here in California. Then there's the weighing between the two. You'd like to have him out here because then he's farther away from maybe getting that call from Athens, maybe get a call from LSU to come visit. But at the same time, also, if you have him down there in the South, he could be a mouthpiece for you. They're currently recruiting a ton of guys from Georgia, just right up the road, the DMV, all the way throughout Louisiana in the South. It'd be nice for also to have him there. So it's kind of you give and take. Do you want him here? Do you want him there? There's pluses and minuses to both.
Man, can we just give Lincoln Riley his flowers, though? When you look at recruiting, he's been head-to-head matchups now. When you look at Deuce Robinson, projected to go to Georgia. When you look at Julian Lewis, I mean, he's right there in the backyard of Georgia. Then we can look at Cameron Fountain, big-time defensive end, out of the state, Atlanta, Georgia area. And I know I'm missing somebody. You got Jarvis Boatwright, him as well. I mean, Lincoln Riley is establishing himself. And this is what I can't understand. I don't understand why some fans can't look at the remarkable job, the head-to-head matchup that Lincoln Riley is doing, opposed to some of the negative things. Yes, we've lost some. But just look at what he's doing. You're going in SEC country. You're literally going head-to-head with the big-time Georgia. Georgia that's just coincidentally won 2 national championships. And here we are looking at the negative aspect of it. Let's look at the positive, because what Lincoln Riley's doing right now, look, do you realize how lost in the sauce we were just a couple of years ago? we weren't even on the radar, man. But now here we are going head-to-head with Georgia and recruiting. And Lincoln Riley he absolutely hit a home run out of the park. Grand slam, man. Yeah. And this would take a lot of sting out of that Dylan Raiola. I guess you want to call it a loss. These guys all know each other. It's a small circuit with these quarterbacks as well. And Julian, he didn't make it much of a surprise. Where when Lewis talked earlier in the year, his dad talked about the fact he's visited campus 4 times, I believe. Is that right? Like 4 times already on his own coin, I think. I'm not sure. And so
when you see that kind of interest, sometimes these guys, these quarterbacks, these families, they all know about each other. It might have made it really difficult for USC to recruit a 2024 quarterback. And now that they know that they're not getting a 2024 quarterback, he makes his announcement loud. Who knows how long he's been silently committed to USC? But it's a great timing. I love the announcement.
I'll tell you what, Tim. I shouldn't even. I've heard that he's been silently committed for some time. I just say that, at least for a couple of months. I've heard that. I've literally heard that, and I don't want to give my giveaway, but I've heard that. So let me ask you this question. Here's the question I got for you. Now we can afford to miss a 2024 quarterback. We can afford to go without having a quarterback, right, for the 2024 class, because you got Miller Moss, you got Malachi right there. Yes, you'll miss the 2024, but if you got a guy like that coming in right behind, we still got Jake Jansen, of course. Jake Jansen, yeah. He was committed to BYU. I don't know if a lot of people even realize that, but he was actually committed to BYU. So that guy is actually a good quarterback. Came in, I believe he came in as a walk-on. So I think we'll be okay if we miss out on the 2024, and we'll be good to go with Malachi, Jake Jansen, and then of course Miller Moss, and then Julian Lewis.
Yeah, well, and if need be, right? Just so you could also go into the portal in the spring. So they'll probably take a look at, who knows what happens, right? If transfers happen, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not going to say whatever our situation might be, but if need be, let's think about this, right? USC wants a quarterback. They could go into the portal, come on in and work with Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley's never had trouble getting guys into his system. So I think they'll be okay for 24. And then if you can get him to reclassify for the 2025 class, that would just be icing on the cake.
Man, that would be absolute icing on the cake.
And by the way, Jason, yes, Heritage Hall is open to the public. Yes, it is. Now, but the McKay Center, that's a whole different story. No, that's like Fort Knox. You can't even get close to there, so don't even try. Well, we said we're gonna pop on and talk really quick. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Man, I think that's pretty much it, man. And of course, we got the season. And look, we wanted, for all those who we wanted to address this, we wanted to address the Reggie Bush situation. We didn't want to let it go a day go by without. I was gonna probably do a video on it, but me and Tim got together and we wanted to just kind of discuss that, just have a dialogue about that. Know you guys' thoughts as well. But look, it's about to be go time, man. These guys are getting ready to play on Saturday. We got a big program coming up. We're gonna do a joint efforts once again, and have these channels join together. Once again, this Friday at what time are we getting it?
4 o'clock Pacific.
Yeah. 4 o'clock. We're gonna get together. Me, Jaywalk, Rick, and then Tim. We're gonna get together once again, and we just kind of gonna do a brief preview, man, and just it really kind of discuss what's getting ready to take place, man. We have been waiting all this time. It seems like this summer, spring, it took forever, man. But now we officially here. It's about to be go time, man, and I am absolutely excited right now.
Yeah, I just popped in there because I did say we would take some calls. So if anyone out there right now wants to join us for a minute, feel free to join us there. Go ahead and take a peek down, see if there's any questions. You guys also, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. But I just want to reemphasize the fact, two things. One, it just looks like since Carol Folt got here, she got a lot of crap in the beginning. Mike Bone also got a lot of crap in the beginning because he didn't walk in here and start chopping heads off. They had a vision, and Bone knew that he had to come in here and put a lot of stuff in place in order to attract the kind of coaches and the kind of talent that they're going to want to have coming to USC in order to bring us up to the level of a Georgia or an Alabama or an Ohio State. And they've done that. And now this is the back end of it. Now everything's in place. They brought in an athletic director who's going to come in, and Jen Cohen's going to come in. She's known for her fundraising. We're going to have the best facilities in the country. We got all that Fox money coming in, but they're still going to need to generate some cash in order to get the new facilities, the football only facility, the new soccer / lacrosse stadium they're going to have. They're going to need to get the money for this stuff, and they got the right person for that job. And she seems like the kind of person also that knows that NIL and how to play the big game. So I'm really excited. The last piece of this is the fact that the football team has also figured out this defense looks like it's got to do some stops. And I can't speak for you, but I think you said the same thing as me. I think USC, Jay, and I, no spoilers, both are looking for a 12-0 season. Is that right?
Hey, I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing with Caleb Williams what he said. He says 15-0. Look, I'm agreeing with him. I'm all on board with that, man. Listen, if you jump on board now, because look, it's no time for doing it in the middle of the season. Once we get going, man, I think we're about to, and you know what's crazy? We talked about these different players. I've done multiple videos about defensive upgrades, and man, I read a report. Well, I've seen something today. It looks like Tackett Curtis possibly running with, which is I'm trying to figure out how they're going to do this, how they're going to figure this out. I guess we might need to leave this to Friday, but Tackett Curtis possibly running with the ones, Tackett Curtis and Mason Cobb. It's unbelievable, man. So, I think they're going to, and I think J-Walk can really speak to this too. They're going to be different packages for different players. Eric Gentry. Do you see Eric Gentry staying out of there? I mean, how do you see that? I mean, this is incredible.
I don't see him. The only way I see Gentry not playing, starting, right, and inside with Mason Cobb is if he's dinged up. That's the only way I can think of. I don't know. I don't have any inside information. They're really tight about their injury situation anyway.
Yeah.
I have all the faith in a young Tackett Curtis freshman coming in. He seems the part. He's a hard worker, etc. But I mean, to keep Gentry off the field, I think the only thing is keeping Gentry off the field with Cobb this year is going to be injury, and maybe there's trying to heal him up. I don't know. I don't want to start any rumors.
I'm not sure all the way. I'm not saying he's injured, but I'm not sure he's all the way 100%. Right. I did see him rehabbing, him and Corey Foreman. I think I put it up in the video. I did see them both kind of not rehabbing to where they had ice on, and they were sitting on the sideline, but they were rehabbing just away from everybody else. But they were doing some running, almost like warm up type situation, to where they were getting their bodies, acclimated to where, once again, the running aspect of it. So, I'm not sure if he's 100%, but from what I'm hearing, Tackett Curtis, this happened last year. If you look at what happened with Gary Bryant, he got hurt. You remember he got hurt, I think, in fall camp. And I don't think he was ever all the way ready to get back, man. And things can set you back. So we just hope that Gentry comes back 100%.
And those lingering injuries, depending on what they are, especially lower leg injuries, if you don't let them heal up, if you don't rest them up properly, they're just gonna nag and linger on the entire season. So I with these first 3, 4, 5 games, 6 games, I'd rather them rest up the guys that need to rest up for that second half than try to hurry them along to play in some games that should be very easily over at halftime anyway. Couple questions. So we got the first one, Jared Cooper. Is there any knowledge on how many discussions Reggie had with the NCAA before he had to resort to filing this lawsuit? I don't know, but I would assume there have been numerous back channel conversations. He's actually outright challenged him. I remember that, and he challenged the Heisman Trust. The Heisman Trust hid behind the fact that, well, we can't give you your trophy back because we need your records reinstated because in our bylaws it says blah 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 blah. So that's why he's saying, hey, I want my records reinstated. So then the Heisman Trust could no longer hide behind that.
Right.
Next one. When will USC be able to bring a 5-star DT out of high school? Let me quickly, and I'll let Jay take this one, but really quickly, I think right now what you're seeing is these kids have watched some Helton years where there wasn't any development. They grew up throwing up the zero. They grew up, watching Ohio State and Alabama and Georgia in playoffs. And so that's where they're going. If Lincoln Riley could fix that and start getting us into playoffs and show the winning culture that USC is, then these high school kids will grow up as Trojans, and that may change. Do you have any idea? Are they players maybe have a beat on?
And as I alluded to, you guys, I don't know if you guys seen it. I interviewed Braylon Conley just the other day. What was it? Yesterday? Did I do it? I think it was yesterday.
Yeah, last night. It was last night.
Yeah, interviewed Braylon Conley, and one of the things that I addressed, and I told him, I said, USCJ has his own rating system. It's USCJ rating system. And I'm going to tell you why, because when I look at Braylon Conley's play, and I'm going somewhere with this. When I look at Braylon Conley's play, he plays like a 5-star, so sometimes you can't look at the ratings. And I even said the same thing, and this is no disrespect. I love Mateo, but when I looked at Braylon Shelby's tape and Elijah Hughes' tape and Sam Green's tape, I just like their play more than Mateo. It's no disrespect. Sometimes we can get lost in the sauce with the 5-star aspect, and it's no disrespect. I've always said I like Mateo as a tight end. He's a big-time tight end. But when you look at the rush in a spot, those guys, to me, they weren't rated as high as him, some of them, but their play just was clearly evident. So why am I saying that? We got guys like David Pele, who we just got from the state of Pennsylvania, that we cannot get lost in the sauce on the stars. We just can't do it. You got to look at, do your own evaluation, do your own film research, and just review the film yourself. And if you just don't put any stars on there, just put the film up side by side, I can guarantee you that you would be impressed with a guy like David Pele. Now, we got a guy like Jericho Johnson that's on the radar right now. He's from Northern California, and I think we can still have an opportunity to get him. All we got to do is win this year. And then you got a guy like Aiden Breland, of course, from Modern Day High School. We still have an opportunity with him. I think if we do, I'm just saying, in the event that we do miss out on those two, look at what happened in the transfer portal. A guy like Bear Alexander still has 3 years left of eligibility. So, the transfer portal has never been more significant now than it ever has been. And so you get a guy that has 3 years left on his sheet. You can go ahead and move and groove, man. I'm just saying, if it came to that, this is the new recruiting, and we got to really come to grips with that. You can recruit a guy that still has plenty of years left. Do we live by that? No, you still recruit high school players in the event that you missed out on some guys, through regular recruiting.
Yeah, I fully agree with you about the recruiting. I mean, I know that Tuli Tuipulotu was not a 5-star, but the guy played like a 6-star last year.
Right.
So I mean, we do have to be careful. Remember, I don't want to crack on the recruiting services too much, but they've had so many misses over the years. The idea with the stars is you have to kind of look at it as a holistic approach. Don't look at it as the individual kids. For instance, you have I was kind of bummed that Julian Lewis has decided this early to commit to USC, because by the time he comes to USC, he's probably gonna be a 2-star. You know how they do with USC? They keep lowering the stars down as they go. Tackett Curtis wasn't even a top 100 player in some of these services.
It's crazy, but I've always stated, I've done videos about him. Tackett Curtis is not a 4-star. He was right up there with Anthony Hill that committed to Texas. I don't know why they had him rated so low. They had him a top 10, but it was ridiculous. Braylon Shelby the same way. Yeah,
you just can't get. You said it perfectly. Just don't get all wrapped up in this guy's a 4-star, this guy's a 5-star. Use it. If they're top 250 players, these guys could play college football. Think of it that way. And then think about the system they're going into. Look at the coaches that are going to train them up. And that's what you have. Look at their game film. Guys that are that big. Like you talk about Jericho Johnson. Guys that big to get off that fast. That's what you want. You don't care if they have 3 or 5 stars. Look at their ability and look what they come into the program with that can fit into the system. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I totally agree with you on that. Should we focus on defense this recruiting cycle?
Well, I think we have. I mean, we got Cameron Fountain from Atlanta, Georgia. We got Jarvis Boatwright, safety that came in. Of course, I just mentioned Braylon Conley. We got Marquise Gallegos. I mean, we got multiple guys that are on defense. I think we're focusing on defense. I think we're gonna focus on everything that we can focus on, but it's getting the best available players. Yes, we want the defensive tackles. Yes, we want all those guys, but I don't think we're gonna miss. If it's a guy that's a top 10 player, I don't think we're gonna just totally ignore him and he wants to come to USC. I think we get the best available, man. That's really anything else we can always pick up with the new college football transfer portal.
Yeah, you just focus on your need, like Jay said. You just focus on your need, and yeah, in this cycle we did have some significant gaps on the defense that they've addressed, and then also I think we needed some tackles, and we definitely need some defensive tackles. So I think they're focusing on what we need in this cycle, what we need left, and I also think going forward is. These are coaches. They're not worried about winning recruiting battles, you guys. They don't care about that kind of stuff. They care about filling roster slots, looking for the deficiencies on the team, and getting the best available players out there.
Yeah.
Here's a long question. Nelson did not look that good in the spring. Riley said Nelson is looking good. Your thoughts? Is he the near future quarterback for SC, or does Riley go out there and get a Jalen Hurts? Don't put too much stock in his spring game. I'm trying to remember, but he was coming off an injury. He didn't have a lot of time to throw. Yeah. I like what we had John Jackson on our show, and he said, look, going from like high school to college, even that jump is massive. Just like the jump from college to pro is like it's these massive leaps in ability, timing, how fast the speed of the players are, the smaller windows you're looking at. The schemes are a lot more complicated. So he equated to like going from roller skates to the 405 freeway. You have to give these freshmen time. We're in a society now, we expect these kids, because some quarterbacks come in as freshmen and they start. But, even in his freshman year, even Caleb struggled at times in his freshman year. So you have to give these guys a little bit of time.
Yeah, and it's a rare thing for a freshman to come in. Coincidentally, I think I did hear Arizona State just named, he's a California product, Jaden Rashard, the starting quarterback today. So I guess he's going to get the nod. But as to Malachi, Lincoln Riley did, talked about his shoulder injury. He wasn't fully healthy. And just a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, last week, actually, I think, Lincoln Riley did say that Malachi, the difference between now and the difference between spring is like a 360 degree turn. So, I mean, I guess he's improved that much more, with him being a freshman. But here's the good thing. He gets to sit behind Caleb, and you got another security blanket, Miller Moss. And just to really be able to have time to really processing, when you talk about that move coming from college to from high school to college, processing things is kind of like, that's part of the roller skates where, what you were referring to. That's part of the speed of the game. So learning how to process everything, that is like, I don't know, maybe 70%, maybe 60%, I don't know. But I think he has an opportunity to do that with those guys in front of him.
All right, guys. So I dropped that link one last time. If someone wants to get in here and talk to USEJ, ask him some questions about the season, this is your final chance. So kind of pop in there. I don't see any more questions either. Oh, no, one just came in. So here you go. Do you think the NCAA does not give back Reggie's Heisman and this lawsuit goes to trial? It will be the death of the NCAA with the skeletons that have come out of the closet in the court. Well, I mean, it's already shown as toothless, right? I mean, it's like what Harbaugh and Michigan are doing right now, you guys, if you read between the lines, is what the hell are you going to do to us? It's like I think that they increased their penalties. A lot of my Michigan friends are trying to tell me it's over a cheeseburger, this and that. It's not. It's not the end of the world. There were some recruiting violations. There are dead periods where you're not supposed to be talking to recruits. They violated some of those, and then they lied about it. That's where the major issue is becoming a bigger issue, is actually that they lied about it. But look at what Michigan's doing now. Michigan said, we're big. We got Fox backing us. We're too big to fail, right? That's like a bank. We're too big to fail. Go ahead, come at us. We're not scared of you anymore. Any thoughts on that? Yeah,
and well, to your point, DM, I think your name used to be DM49. You changed it. It's about time you get rid of that 49er stuff, man. That lost and sauce 49er stuff. No, that's my partner, man. We be talking on Instagram, but yeah, to your point, man. I think right now, not Lincoln Riley. Reggie's really calling their bluff right now, and because I don't think the NCAA wants to do that. Not with the findings and the facts that were presented today. With Benjamin Crump, the lawyer, I don't think they want to do that, man. I think if I was them, I think it's in their best interest to go ahead and settle this. Because if they go and investigate this and you take it all the way, whatever, to the Supreme Court, I think that more can be found once you start researching out some stuff, and you can really cause yourself some problems. So I would think with some of the statements that were made today, they really presented it. They talked about it. They explained details. And I think the way they explain that, I would think that it would be in the best interest right now of the NCAA to settle with Reggie Bush and give him his trophy back, especially with guys like Johnny Manziel coming out. And you pretty much see he did I guess I'm not going to say the same thing, but you pretty much see there was some illegal stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, I don't see any more questions. Do you, Jay? I don't see any more questions. What is your score prediction? You got to tune in on Friday for that, you guys.
Yeah.
Tune in Friday at 4:00. Rick's going to be here. John Walker's going to be here. All four of us going to have some predictions. we'll be all over that on Friday.
Yeah, we just wanted to come on for a minute. Yeah, we almost 45 minutes, which is pretty good. This was spur of the moment. We didn't want to let Reggie Bush thing just slip away.
Yeah, we said 20 minutes.
Yeah, we said 20, 30 minutes, but we didn't want the Reggie Bush thing to just slip away.
Yeah. So I don't have any other questions. So we appreciate everybody last second showing up. Thank you so much.
Put Eddie's comment on there real quick. I see Eddie. I think Eddie put a comment.
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
He says, breaking, Jen Cohen has been spotted walking in the NCAA office. Absolutely. Hey, look, I think the fact that she's coming, I don't know if she boosted this thing up or what. If this was in the making, that's a great question to even, to know. Has Jen Cohen really boosted this thing up?
Yeah, I would think so. She's well known for being 100% behind her teams and stuff like that. I obviously there's no connection to Reggie, but there obviously now is a connection to USC. I don't know. She does seem to me like a no nonsense kind of AD. So I will be interested to see how quickly she can get things moving. I do think this was in the works for a while, but I think she's got a person that'll probably see it through. And like you said, the timing's perfect. Yeah. This is the time for this, and I think that it's going to happen finally. Again, I've been screaming for 25 weeks. I try to help those fools out the NCAA. Say, get out in front of this. History's not going to be kind to you guys. They had the opportunity before Reggie came this lawsuit. They knew it was going this way. Just like with NIL, 20 years ago, they knew it was going this direction. If the NCAA had got out in front of this NIL thing, it wouldn't be the mess that it is today. It would have been real. No pay for play. It would have been these kids getting NIL. Now, because they didn't, we have the current atmosphere where you do have schools out there handing out bags to lure kids to their school. But it's the NCAA. That's why, as we said earlier, they're a paper tiger and no one takes them seriously anymore.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, any final words, Jay?
That's it, man. Hey, you guys make sure.
Sorry. Do you hint? In 2 years, the NCAA will be toothless, and thus SC should do what is good for USC, Reggie, and put Jersey. Gerardo, I just think that they know that it's coming back. I don't know. They've always been so safe and secure and whatever, but I do think they've changed their attitude. I think they see the changing time and that the NCAA, and I also think, I mean this truly. I was joking around. I said we're untouchable. We're not untouchable. We saw what happened to Ohio State, but we're not in the Pac-12 anymore. Where they don't stand up. All the other conferences stick up for their teams. SEC does it. The Big Ten does it. So yeah, now that we're in the Big Ten, I'm not nearly as worried about the NCAA as I used to be, because they walked in the Pac-12. They do whatever they want in the Pac-12, but they got pushback from the other conferences. So I think this is a combination of everything. It's a combination of changing times. NIL. It's because what it was, Reggie, the alleged offenses for Reggie again. That's why you said earlier, Jay. He chose his words carefully. He did not do pay for play because he never did. It was never situational. Right. If hypothetically there was any money, it had to do with his name is like this, a wannabe marketing firm trying to get his services, flying his parents around, etc. All the allegations. None of it was for USC to play football, for Reggie to play football at USC. It never was that. So I'm glad they're getting the verbiage correctly.
They're getting the verbiage correctly. And you got guys like Nick Saban that's pretty much almost telling on Texas A&M. They're getting all these guys. They're doing this. They're doing that. And it's like the NCAA just turned a blind eye. But when it came to Reggie, it's like, let's go just stab him. Let's just get him. And I mean, it was unbelievable, man. So I'm happy about this, man. And I'm just, as I stated, I'm just happy that we had an opportunity just to really come on and touch this. I really didn't want to wait to tomorrow morning to upload a video. I think we need to touch it while it was hot, and just kind of jump on it, man, with Reggie, because we feel his pain. The Trojan family has had to hear it, and we just kind of wanted to get it out the way.
Yeah, and it's just not right. And listen, guys, thank you so much. We popped on, but hey, we'll ask for it right here. If you get a moment, go ahead and like the video. It'll help it to get out there. Subscribe so that you know when we're going live, and that notification bell will tell you exactly when we go live. So
make sure you check in Friday. Friday we will be on together once again.
Yep. 4:00 Pacific, 7 Eastern. We're going to go over the schedule. We're going to go over some over-unders and some superlatives for the players and some fun categories too. And we're taking calls. Nobody took us up on it today. We hope that we can hear from you guys on Friday.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much again. Thanks for being here. That's JT. I'm Tim. We'll see you guys next time.
Fight
Fight
on.
on.